Hello guys, welcome back to another tips video. This is the round 21 tips for 2026. And yeah, let's start off things with Pies and the Cats. 11-7-1 to 11-8. Last time they played each other was in round 9. It was like Pendle's 432, I reckon that was. Yeah. Pies beat Crows. And the Cats ended the Demons' undefeated MCG streak, as their top 6 hopes are still alive. And yep, for Collingwood, Nick Dacos had 39 disposals and Darcy Cameron had 137 AFL fantasy and 9 tackles. And for Geelong, Shannon Neal kicked 5. Oh wow. Anyways, starting off, Geelong by 5 points. Freo and Western Bulldogs 17-2 to 12-7. Last time they played each other was in round 8. Freo won Western Derby again, this time winning by 70 points in Derby 63. And the Dogs, they get a sniff of September after cruising past Tired Tigers as they win by 57 points on a Saturday evening under the Marvel Stadium roof. And yep, for the Bulldogs, Ed Richards had 32 disposals, 128 AFL fantasy. Riley Sanders had 6 tackles, Wademan kicked 2, Bond kicked 2, Ed Richards also had 2 goals, and Riley West kicked 2. And yeah, for Fremantle, Amos kicked 5 and Andrew Brayshaw had 7 tackles. Anyways, Fremantle by 31 points. And yeah, moving on to Super Saturday, Saints and Swans 14-5 to 9-10. Last time they played each other was in round 13, and that was when Jai Sarong was the match winner. And yep, that was only like nearly 2 months ago. And yeah, for the Swans, they dominate the Sydney Derby to put the Giants season on a cliff's edge. And yeah, for the Saints, they stomp on Roos' wildcard hopes behind Nast Heriotics. Max King played his first game since June 30th, 2024, having battled a complex knee injury and subsequent soft tissue concerns, just for him to get injured in the third quarter, which was a hamstring tightness. And yeah, for the Saints, Wanganeen Miller dominated with 46 disposals, 4 goals, 182 AFL fantasy. And Hugh Boxall and Hugh Garcia had 6 tackles. For Sydney, Charlie Curnow kicked 4, Errol Goulden 41 disposals. Errol Goulden also had 137 AFL fantasy and 11 tackles for James Rowbottom. Anyway, Sydney by 24 points. And yeah, moving on. Back to Utah's Hawks and North, 13-5-1 to 8-11. Last time they played each other was round 16 last year. And yeah, North blew their chance again. Now they've lost 4 in a row. For Hawthorn, Jack Gunston kicked his 600th goal in a 93-point win against Essendon. And yeah, for Gunston and his Hawks, he kicked 7, along with Jarman MP having 37 disposals and 147 AFL fantasy. And for North, Harry Sheasel had 29 disposals, I reckon. So anyways, Hawks by 56 points. And yep, now it's Port and Giants. Some at 6:35, which is a bit odd for a Saturday twilight game. Yeah, anyways, 6-13 to 8-11. Last time they played each other was round 13 last year. And yeah, for the Giants, they lost the around the ground clearance count 10-25. Since round 16, they've lost this measure by 5.8 per game, ranked last in the competition. Injuries to Finn Callahan. And yep, Port lose again, this time by 59 points against Brisbane at the Gabba. Yeah. For Port, Jason Horn-Francis had 30 disposals and 108 AFL fantasy. And for the Giants, Clayton Oliver had 29 disposals and 104 AFL fantasy. Anyways, Port by 8 points. And now moving on to the last Super Saturday game with Carlton and Brisbane, 13-6 to 9-10. Last time they played each other was in round 9. And yeah, Carlton have beat the Suns as their wildcard hopes are still alive. Now sitting 11th currently at the recording of this video. And yeah, Jagger Smith 31 disposals, Sam Walsh 31 disposals along with 116 AFL fantasy. Tyler Byrne kicked 3, Will Hayward kicked 3, George Hewitt kicked 3. And yeah, for Brisbane, Logan Morris kicked 3, Charlie Cameron kicked 3, Zach Bailey kicked 3 along with 133 AFL fantasy, and Kyle Lemon kicked 3. And yep, Dane Talker 34 disposals, and Josh Dunkley 9 tackles. So yep, anyways, Brisbane by 18 points. And yep, moving on, Sunday ticket, Richmond and West Coast. 2-17 to 4-15. Last time they played each other was in round 8 back when Richmond got their first win of the year. And yeah, nothing much to say, but for the Eagles, Marcus Herbert, 36 disposals and 118 AFL fantasy. In just his 6th game. Wow. How good was that? And for Richmond, McKetty Lafau kicked 2, Tom Lynch kicked 2, and yeah. Anyways, West Coast Eagles by 14 points. And now moving on to the Suns and the D's, 12-7 at 7-12. Last time they played each other was in round 4 when the Demons gave the Suns first loss of the year. And yeah, this time it's at People First Stadium. Suns have lost 9 in a row. Wow. Oh my god. Yeah. For the D's, their undefeated MCG streak comes to an end. However, Ed Leighton equalised his career high. The only other time he kicked 3 was in a match dating back to round 5 2021 against Hawthorn. And yeah, for the D's, Petty kicked 4 and Jack Steele had 30 disposals, Max Gorn 110 AFL fantasy, and Tom Sparrow 9 tackles. For the Suns, Ben King kicked 3, Joel Jeffrey kicked 3, Bailey Humphrey kicked 3, Matt Rouse 7 tackles. Anyways, Demons by maybe 39 points. And our last game is Essendon and Adelaide, 12-7 to 2-17. Last time they played each other was way early to last year, that was round 2. And yeah, for Essendon, Zach Merritt had 9 tackles, and Adelaide, Taylor Walker kicked 3, Riley Thilthorpe kicked 3. Anyways, last game, Crows by 71 points. And yep, anyways, these are our tips for round 21. Make sure to join my tips comp. It'll be in the link in the description down below if you want to join. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more AFL tips videos.